are going to do two things at the same time. First, we are going to explore a powerful idea. The only three real ways to become fluent in English. Second, and just as important, we are going to improve your English while you listen. This is not only a podcast about fluency. This podcast is fluency practice. Let me explain how. In this episode, I will use language that is rich but clear. Sometimes I will use slightly more advanced words that are a little higher than basic level. But I will not stop and give dictionary-style definitions. Instead, I will make the meaning clear in another way. I will repeat ideas using different words. I will say the same idea in a simpler way. I will express one concept, then say it again in easier language so your brain can connect the meaning naturally. In this way, you understand from context. You understand from repetition. You understand because the idea becomes clearer each time you hear it. Do not worry if one sentence feels difficult. Keep listening. The meaning will become clear. The idea will open. The message will settle in your mind. You are not here to understand every single word perfectly. You are here to grasp the message. You are here to understand the message. You are here to get the message. Okay? So, take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and let your mind focus. Let's begin. Okay, so let's start with the first method. Live inside English every day. Fluent speakers do not treat English as a school subject. They do not place English inside a small box called study time. They do not say, "Now I open English," and then later, "Now I close English." No. Instead, English becomes part of their environment. English becomes part of their surroundings. It becomes part of the air they breathe during the day. They live with English. They move through their daily routine with English around them. English is present in their morning. It is present in their afternoon. It is present in their evening. It is not something special. It is not something separate. It is something normal, okay? This idea is strongly supported by research about language input. So, what is input? Input is the language you receive, the language that enters your mind through listening and reading. It is the English you hear. It is the English you see. It is the English your brain meets again and again. Input. Remember that. So, researchers explain something very important. The brain does not learn language from rules alone. It learns language from exposure, from contact, from repeated experience. When you hear English once, it feels new. When you hear it many times, it feels familiar. When you hear it every day, it begins to feel natural. The brain adapts through repetition. It adjusts through frequency. It becomes comfortable through regular contact. At first, English may feel distant. It may feel foreign. It may feel like something outside of you. But when you live inside it daily, when you allow it to surround you regularly, it slowly becomes part of your internal world, the world inside you. What you need is comprehensible input. This does not mean easy English. It does not mean childish English. It means English that you can understand. English that you can follow even if you do not understand every single word. That is comprehensible input. It means language that stretches you slightly. Language that challenges you a little, just like the language in this podcast, but not language that overwhelms you, not the language that makes you tired. When input is comprehensible, the brain stays relaxed. When the brain is relaxed, it absorbs more. When it absorbs more, it builds stronger connections. It learns better. Think about how children learn their first language. They are not studying grammar. They are not memorizing rules. They are surrounded by language, okay? They are immersed in sound. They are constantly exposed to words, patterns, and rhythms. Every day, they hear similar phrases. Every day, they hear similar sentence structures. Every day, they hear the same rhythms repeated in slightly different ways. Slowly, their brain detects patterns. It recognizes structures. It builds models of how the language works. You can create the same condition for yourself. You may not live in an English-speaking country. You may not travel abroad, but you can build a small English environment around you. In your English environment, the language is always nearby. It is accessible. It is available. It is part of your day. You wake up and listen for 10 minutes. You commute and listen again. You cook dinner and listen quietly in the background. This is not intense study. It is consistent exposure. It is steady contact. At first, English may sound too fast. The sentences may blend together. The sounds may feel unclear. But when you hear the same voice again and again, the rhythm becomes familiar. The speed becomes manageable. The pronunciation becomes predictable. You begin to feel the flow of the language. Many learners make a common mistake. They jump from one source to another. They change teachers every week. They move from one podcast to a completely different style the next day. They believe variety will help. But stability is more powerful. Consistency is more effective. Repetition is more powerful. Okay, so that is for listening and understanding English. But to build fluency, you also need other methods. The second method is building a daily system. Many learners believe fluency comes from strong motivation. They believe they must feel inspired, excited, full of energy, full of passion, full of drive. They think they must wake up each day with the desire to study and the desire to practice. But motivation is unstable. It rises and falls. it comes and goes. Some days you feel eager. Some days you feel tired. Some days you feel curious. Some days you feel distracted. If fluency depends only on motivation, progress becomes irregular. It becomes uncertain. It becomes unpredictable. So, instead of depending on motivation, fluent learners depend on something else. They depend on a system. They rely on a routine. They follow a pattern that repeats each day. Small actions, repeated daily, create deep change over time. Tiny steps, taken regularly, lead to large progress later. If you study 5 hours one day and then stop for many days, the effect is not strong. The memory fades. The brain forgets. But if you study 20 minutes every day, even a short period, even a small amount of time, the brain remembers. The brain retains. The brain strengthens connections. Language learning depends on frequency. It depends on repeated contact, repeated exposure, repeated use. The brain needs to meet the same language again and again, to encounter it often, to return to it regularly, to see it in different moments and different contexts. Imagine a simple daily structure. A short listening period where you hear clear English and follow the meaning. A short speaking period where you express your own ideas and describe your own life. A short review period where you return to key phrases and useful sentences. This daily rhythm does not feel heavy. It does not feel overwhelming. It feels manageable. It feels realistic. It feels possible. And because it feels possible, you repeat it. It becomes a system. You continue it. You maintain it. You keep it. Over time, repetition builds familiarity. Familiarity builds comfort. Comfort builds confidence. And confidence builds fluency. There is also a learning principle called spaced repetition. This means returning to the same idea, to the same material over time, not all at once, not in one long session, but across many days and many weeks. When you meet the same language again after some time, the brain recognizes it. It remembers it. It strengthens the connection. The memory becomes stable. The memory becomes durable. It stays longer. Instead of searching for new material every day, you can stay with one piece of audio for several days. You can return to the same conversation, the same story, the same explanation. Every time you return, understanding deepens. Clarity goes up. Confidence increases. At first, you follow with effort. Later, you follow with ease. And finally, you follow without effort at all. Okay, now I want to talk about the triangle of fluency. We can imagine fluency as a triangle. 3 sides that support each other. 3 parts that must exist together. The first side is input. Listening and reading, receiving language, understanding language. The second side is output. speaking and expressing, producing language, using language. The third side is system, routine and habit, daily practice, regular repetition. If one side is missing, the triangle becomes weak. If you only listen, you understand, but cannot express easily. If you only speak without input, your language becomes limited and uncertain. If you have no system, practice becomes irregular and progress becomes slow. But when all three sides exist together, the triangle becomes strong. Input feeds output. Output strengthens input. The system holds everything together. So, my friends, fluency is not far away. It is built through daily contact, daily use, and daily return. Through small steps that continue, through habits that remain, you can build fluency. Live inside English. Speak before ready. Follow a system. Stay consistent and stay engaged. And slowly, surely, naturally, fluency will grow. Bye for now.